Frank Furness, and I'm back again with Meet the Expert. Today I'm with an amazing guy I met a little while ago when I was speaking at Lambeau Field, and he owns one of the most amazing banks I've ever been to. Dennis, tell me a little bit about yourself and your bank, how you got started over here, and how you created this phenomenon.
Well, that's a very long story, but I'll try to make it real short. But yeah, I think, growing up, I always wanted to be different and not, people told me I couldn't do something. It's kind of like what I've done with the bank, is that, we refer to as we want to sexy it up a little bit. And be honest with you, banking is very boring. And most people don't like to deal with their bank. And, we're not afraid to push the envelope, and people in our meetings say, well, you can't do that. Well, yes, we can. So everything we've done in this organization is to kind of push the envelope and actually kind of lose the taboo that comes with a bank in the traditional sense that we're going to be high touch. It's a place you want to go, and it's a fun place. People are going to leave with a smile on their face, unlike at most institutions where you don't want to go there. You leave and you're like, well, that was a horrible experience. We've created something that's very dynamic, and why we've been so successful is because we are thinking outside of the box, and we're not afraid to question anything in banking.
So, when we take it, in the UK, I used to have my bank, and 20 years ago, I had a personal bank manager. He'd come to my house, I'd speak to him. Now, I don't even have a bank to go to. They're closing every bank in town. When I do go in, there's massive lines. When I came over here to Citizens Bank, it was just phenomenal. I walked in, a lady came out, she hugged me, and it was great. There was a coffee bar there. I went and had a coffee. It was Friday. There was free popcorn over there. The whole vibe, the color, everything. So, Dennis, what you've done is you've taken banking and you've sort of thrown it on its head. Has that scared the living daylights out of the other banks in the area?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they're watching, and our staff is always worried about are people going to copy us? And I said, yeah, that's an honor, because even though we've had many things that have been copied since we started this bank in 2005. And I think that's an honor, but there's a difference between copying and being able to execute with the right people and the right principles. So yeah, the bank across the street could try to do this, but the impact and have the effectiveness, I don't think would be there. So we got to be just committed to it every single day and know what our vision is and what we're trying to accomplish.
What's your recruitment policy? Because again, your people are just out of this world.
Very high standards. And one of the things that's different with our bank than most banks is that we hire on attitude over intelligence, whereas you were to go to most banks, they want to see that 20-year experience. That's completely what we don't want. We want someone that's motivated to be outside of the box, and so yes, it's a longer learning curve, and it takes a lot more training, but that's why our people have been so successful, and why recruiters are calling our people nonstop, because we have built something that's so dynamic, and our training ground is so phenomenal. And from day one, when we hire them, we're not afraid to say we have very high standards. And we call it detail management, all the different things that we do, and that has made us very successful. So from the point of the phone interview, and it's not so much about what that person knows, it's about how they're communicating. Did HR have a smile on their face when they hung up with them? And that's really what the real purpose is, because if you leave this organization with a smile or hang up that phone with a smile, you've done your job. And so we need to know that right away in that first interview.
You were 30 years old when you bought this bank?
Yep.
That's crazy. How does that work? And how did you, it's just a phenomenon what you've done over here at the age of 30.
Yeah, I look back now, and I kind of joked to my two partners and asked them, what were you thinking? I had probably just got my braces off not too long before that, but yeah, I turned 30, got engaged, and basically started my own bank in a 2-month period, which, I was very fortunate that I had great partners. I built a career in my own business unit before this, so when I left, all my customers came with me because of the value I gave them. I was not just a banker that gave them a loan or took a deposit. I became part of their business, and that they couldn't live without it. And so when I started this, I knew there was going to be something valuable, but it was also at a time when there was several other banks that opened just prior to that and weren't doing very well. Again, we all had the same products, the same services, right? We had to differentiate ourselves and create an experience that was like no other, which is our mission statement to this day, is to create an experience like no other and to become the model of what everybody wants. And yeah, in those early years, there was some scary times when I'm laying in the hotel bed, and boy, the rest of my career was set at the place I was at before, but I wanted the challenge, and I couldn't have dreamt it turning out any better than it has.
And you said it was tough. You told me about the little town where you set up, where you actually went and knocked on doors, actually cold calling.
Yep.
You're the CEO of this bank and you're cold calling.
Yeah, and I was telling you when I first got into business right out of college, in terms of trying to get new business, it was literally open up the yellow pages, and I wasn't given any training at all, and I remember just sweating and hanging up the phone. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was the most embarrassing call ever. But just like in life, and that's what I promote to my employees, that you learn more from your mistakes and falling on your face than you do your successes. And so fast forward in 2005 when this was all happening, and there was an existing small bank in northern Wisconsin that a lot of people didn't bank with us in this small town, and we were the only bank. And here I was, the city boy coming to town, and I needed to earn their trust, and I literally went up to just about every door and knocked on the door just to introduce myself. I wanted to be part of the community, and that was uncomfortable. I saw some very interesting things, but very successful, and now I can say the majority of that town now banks with us, and the organization we built up there is very strong.
Now, Dennis, the other thing you told me about is on Sundays you sit and you handwrite notes to all of your new customers. You meet every one of your new employees. Tell me about that sort of personal touch.
That's what built this. Obviously in the early days when we only had 7 or 8 employees and a handful of customers, I thought, that's pretty easy. I do that personal touch. And to this day, it's the majority of my Sunday afternoons is spent sending personal thank yous to all of our new customers that opened an account with us, and in addition to that, someone that got a new loan from us. And we've got a process now that makes it much more efficient. And it does take a lot of time, and my wife often asks, how much longer can you do this? And even if we're out of town, I'm taking my cards with me, and it might be in the car that I'm handwriting a personal thank you. Because if I ever lose that, that's what this organization was built on. That's that personal touch, especially in this day and age of the big banks where everybody's just a number. Our new customers know from day one that they are not just a number. They are very important to us in this organization. So what do? They tell other people. Same thing with our employees. After 90 days, I go to lunch with every one of them, and there's a couple of purposes on that. One, I want to get to know them better. I want them to get to know me better, know that I'm a real person, and also tell them about our history, but also what our standards are, and just reinforce what a special place this is and what our standards are, and so they know, and they also know about all our programs and how it's really one big family.
Tell me about these things that you gave me. So there's a little thing, refer a friend, and here's your little free coffee. So what are these?
Yeah, so the coffee chip here is that, again, we were, 2.5 years ago, I started thinking about how I could revolutionize our lobby and came up with this concept that's completely outside of the box. Everybody walks into our lobby, which is known as the cafe, because we actually have a cafe in our main lobby, and then people turn around and say, is this a bank? Oh my God, you go to a normal bank, it's drop ceilings, bad music. Here you're going to hear rock and roll music, could be rap, you never know what you're going to hear, but it's an inviting place that people want to be. And so we actually have a cafe that we partnered up with a local, very good organic coffee company in Baroka, Wisconsin by the name of Kickapoo. And so we actually have coffee, several different flavors, also hot apple cider, hot chocolate, not only in our cafe, but also our drive-through. What other bank, if you're a customer, can you just go through the drive-through and not have to go to Starbucks? You can go through to get your coffee. So you think about the people that are spending $4 or $5 a day to go to Starbucks to get their coffee. Now they can do that with our Get More account. We've just created a lot of value and another touch with our customer. And the other thing he's talking about here is a refer a friend card. So every one of those thank yous that I write on Sunday, I include 2 things outside of a personal message. Is I include my business card so they always know how they can get in contact with me, but also this refer a friend card, because obviously hopefully they see that right away that what the personalization of this bank is. That's going to sell us better than $1 million in advertising. It's very, very important.
And coming to that advertising, tell me about your social strategy, social media, because most banks don't even have a Facebook.
Yeah, it's completely, I always say, push the envelope outside of the box. And in my Monday morning marketing meeting, sometimes we come up with some things that are like, ooh, this might upset some customers. And I say, that's okay. We can't make 100% of them happy. And actually, we just came up with a brand new campaign. It was a little controversial. Basically, it's dump your bank. Because the number one reason people don't switch banks is because they don't want to deal with the hassle. But we perfected it. We do the work for our customer. So we created this dump your bank campaign. And it's kind of dovetailed to mirror the bad boyfriend or bad girlfriend. You want to dump the bad boyfriend, he's a loser, but you don't want to deal with the hassle. Well, we tied in the same thing as dumping your bank, but we'll do the work for you. So we've done many videos over the years that have really pushed the envelope, but we've got more traction out of social media than any form of any TV, radio, or print, hands down. But also having our employees so engaged in that process has made it huge. We once did a video a couple of years ago, and it probably cost us a couple $100 to produce. We had over 50,000 views on it.
Wow.
You can't buy advertising like that.
No.
No.
Now, Dennis, for people watching this video here, what advice would you give to business owners that are running traditional normal kind of businesses? If you had to give them maybe 5 pointers on what you think they could do to really take their business to the next level, what do you think those would be?
Think outside of the box. Don't ever say, we've always done it this way. I think don't be afraid of turnover. So many people get complacent. That's a person that's been in that position for so long and they can't think of new, fresh ideas. And I think collaboration is a big one too. Collaborate with your people. But really challenge yourself and never stop thinking about how you can differentiate yourself, because you all have the same product as someone else in your industry, right? How can you do it differently? How can you get it to that customer of yours can't live without you? Because that's what we've done here at Citizen State Bank. Our customers cannot live without us. And why we've developed and provided an experience that's like no other.
Wow. Well, Dennis, thanks so much. And where can people go if they want to check out all of this incredible stuff online? Where's the best place for them to go?
CitizenStateBank.us, or go to our Facebook page at Citizen State Bank of La Crosse. You can find them there. And then we also have a YouTube channel of Citizen State Bank La Crosse that we just started using. And so a lot of our videos and commercials are out there. So those couple of places that I would start with.
And it was pretty cool when I came in today. I saw this little counter there. I said, what is this counter? And that was every time somebody does a like on Facebook, the counter goes up. So you actually see it in real time.
Real time, yep. Just get our employees engaged in excitement every time it goes up. That's free advertising. You can't buy that.
And then your lady had the little bell behind
yep,
it there.
She rings the bell.
Ring the bell.
Creating excitement and having fun.
Oh, Dennis, thanks so much for this interview. Brilliant getting to know you, and what a great job. Thanks so much.
My pleasure.